Welcome to Moses Cybersecurity Institute's YouTube channel. My name is Benjamin Mose and I'm the founder of the Institute. Today I'd like to share with you two different models that we can use to think about cybersecurity. And the first one is what's called the equilibrium model. The equilibrium model is this idea that cybersecurity is like a plane. The board members and the CEOs are basically the pilots of the plane. And so what's happening is that, if there's a breach and sort of proverbially the plane falls down or something goes wrong, they can allocate some money or deploy some new controls and kind of put the plane back on track and make sure the plane doesn't crash. And so to think about the equilibrium model is we think that an organization's kind of, trying to achieve some sort of equilibrium, and if something goes wrong, we just inject cash, we hire new people, or we deploy new technology, and somehow we bring the plane back on track and continuing forward. Now, there's kind of a debate in the industry as to whether the equilibrium model actually applies to cybersecurity. But what I want to point out is that when you're going to read cybersecurity books or look at blogs or look at cybersecurity standards, well, most of them, whether they know it or not, are actually built on this idea that if there's a major cyber event, somehow we can pull some levers and inject cash somewhere to be able to recover and put the plane back on track. In contrast to that, there's another model that we can call the complexity model. And the way to think about the complexity model is to think about snow building up on a mountaintop. And progressively, the more snow there is, the more there's a risk of an avalanche. And so what is happening is that we have all sorts of organizations that are all interconnected with one another. A portion of them are being directly breached, a portion of them are being indirectly breached, and you can think of it as snow piling up on top of the mountain. And at some point, there will be the one snowflake that will just, fall on the mountain, and that's going to create a massive avalanche that's going to not just take out a single organization, but most likely many different organizations. And there's kind of a debate as to whether cybersecurity really is an equilibrium model or is a complexity model, and whether the breaches that we're seeing and that we've seen for the last few years are actually going at some point to look like an avalanche that's just going to, fall down, and we don't know what is the snowflake that is going to cause the avalanche to just crumble on us. And so, if we do operate under a complexity model, which we're not sure that we are at this stage, then the way to think about cybersecurity completely changes. So, if you were in the Alps in France and there was a risk of an avalanche somewhere, what we would do is we would send specialists to actually put dynamite somewhere and explode the avalanche snow before it would actually, fall down and destroy a city, for example. And so when we operate in a complexity model, we have to take steps, very aggressive steps, to actually cause many avalanches before they happen as a way to prevent a big one. And so if we were indeed under a complexity model, we would have to change completely how we do regulations and how we do law, cyber law, and so on and so forth, because we would find out that there would be no way to truly bring back an equilibrium, so to speak. So I'm just going to let you think about these two models, the equilibrium model and the complexity model, and for you to ponder as to whether you think we are in an equilibrium model, or if we are in a complexity model, and maybe we're not in any of them and we're into something else that I don't know about, or maybe it is a mix of the two. But now that you know about these two models, you can think about how you would actually go about thinking about cybersecurity differently. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you soon again on our YouTube channel. Make sure to hit the subscribe button as we publish videos like this one regularly, and thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.